the power, yep.
Welcome in, guys. How is everybody? If you're watching, I have on my Laguna Beach surf and sport hat in honor of the reunion and all of the questions that you guys submitted for this. I'm just feeling all around the Laguna love. And actually, right before I started taping this, I just found out that the Laguna Beach reunion is the #1 show on Roku. So I am feeling very good right now, and I know that you guys have all been loving the reunion, which makes me so happy. I'm so happy that we did it for so many different reasons. And I figured today I could answer some of your questions specifically about the reunion, because when I asked you guys on Instagram what you wanted to talk about, I mean, like 70% of the questions were about Laguna Beach. And so I screenshot a bunch. I have them here, and we're just going to go through them and talk all things Laguna. And so a lot of the questions were, let's see, we'll start with how you're feeling after revisiting Laguna Beach and reuniting with everybody. I mean, honestly, I feel like a broken record in my life because I've said it to my friends. I just got off the phone with my agents. I have said it to family. I've said it in interviews, but I feel so incredible with this whole experience. I didn't know I needed this. And since we've done it and now it's out and everything, it has honestly been so healing for me in so many ways. And again, it's like one of those things, I thought I was fine. I didn't know that I needed it. I was obviously going about my life perfectly fine. But now having had the experience and with it being out there, there's like a piece of my soul that just feels at ease now. It's a little more peaceful, and it has been healing. And what an incredible experience it is. And it's really hard to put into words, but for so many, there's so many layers to it, right? Like obviously the personal dynamics, and specifically, Lauren and I think coming together and getting to know her now as an adult and develop some sort of a relationship with her has been really great. And I've really enjoyed spending time with her, the time that, because obviously it's interesting and I had a lot of questions about this, and I'm just going to read them and then we'll dig into it. If the reunion was real, it seemed fake, especially you and LC. And then someone also said, this is a long message, and it was nice. Like they talk about how strong I seem and how, my life's been public for a long time, and there's a lot about me that you guys don't know, and that's good, and blah, blah, blah. But then she goes in and says, I sensed you being tired at the reunion. Not physically, you looked amazing, but more emotionally. And it's a good thing, right? She says, like, you're shedding a skin for the next thing. And so I want to talk about this. I do think, so the reunion, okay? So the very first thing that we shot was the reunion soundstage with Casey, the host. And that was the first time I had seen Lauren and a few other people in, probably 15 years, like at least. And I was nervous, but I was nervous because not only have I not seen some of these people in a long time, we are being thrown into a very unnatural situation. Like, I don't know how these shows that are on today do these reunions all the time. But for me, that's the first reunion I've ever done. And I'm doing it with people, again, who this is stuff that it's been over 20 years and we're rehashing it. And I don't know what I'm going to be asked, right? I'm an executive producer. So like I have a good idea, but like in the moment, it's always, even if someone handed me all of the questions, it's very different than when you're in the moment on a soundstage in front of all of these cameras and lights, in front of all of these people with the entire cast. Like I get nervous for that stuff. And yes, I've been doing this stuff for 22 years. I will never be 100% comfortable in an interview or in a situation like that. It's just not a natural thing for anybody. I really applaud people who can 100% be calm and cool in those situations and also answer intelligently and say exactly what they want to say. Because most of the time in those situations, I answer it, right? And then I look back, I'm like, why the fuck didn't I say this? Or like, even the reunion, I'm like, there's a lot more I should have said about the image that I was portrayed in and what I was actually going through. Because I also feel like there is a piece where it's been so long, right? That like we're rehashing it, but it's like also, what is the point? Why am I going to bring up some of the real emotions that I felt and how I actually did sort of feel like the victim in all of that, but it's also like, but I never want to be the victim. I'm not going to like sit in front of the whole cast and on a soundstage and be like, I was the victim, you know? And I just think I'm not trying, like, it wasn't fake, but I think there's a level of people trying to put their best foot forward, myself included. And there's an element of, why are we going to really get into the weeds when it's been so long? There's no real point. My point with that is I felt like Lauren and I actually got to connect on my podcast when she came on my podcast, because again, the soundstage, that's not connecting with anybody. That's like being in the hot seat. That's like an interrogation. You're not connecting. And then we went to New York and we did press together. Well, we were in LA and then, but that was the whole cast and that was really chaotic and there was a million people around. But then Steve and Lauren and I were in New York for a couple of days together, just the three of us, right? And coming off of the podcast and then having that time with her, I do now feel like I have a really good sense of who she is. I do feel like we have a good dynamic. And I respect her on so many levels and I really have enjoyed my time with her. But that didn't happen for me until after the reunion, if I'm just being completely honest. And so that has nothing to do with producers, with it being fake in any way, shape, or form. In fact, that was the realest thing we've ever done, right? I think the difference was just that there are real nerves and that is just such an unnatural thing. That's what I will always just resort back to, is that that's not a natural thing for people to do, you know? Like, think about it, like your own high school reunion. You're kind of nervous for that, right? And then imagine you're put in front of everybody with lights and cameras and you're being interrogated in front of like your core people who you had drama with. Like, it's just a weird thing. It's a really weird thing to do. A lot of people ask for a Laguna reunion behind the scenes. You know, here's what I'll tell you is there wasn't anything crazy that happened, but what happened was, so we did the soundstage in LA and then we had a day off and then we went to Laguna Beach and we had 2 days of filming. And when we were all in Laguna, we would go to my hotel a lot after we shot and we would get drinks a lot. I mean, there was like, 2 days, 3 days? I guess it was 3 days. And that was really fun. And we got to catch up off camera, of course. And that was really nice too. And it was really fun being in Laguna, but a lot of it was shot. I mean, most of it was on camera. Just the only thing I would say that was like a little BTS was just like the not late night. It was the nighttime drinks, which was really fun. What you saw on the show was so true to just how we were with each other in general. It really was just a feel good, catch up, nostalgic thing for all of us. And it made all of us feel really good to be able to come together. And I know how incredible it is to be part of a show that is able to come back all of these years later and have a moment like this. Doing a reunion show 22 years later and having it be number one it's incredible. And I will forever be grateful for that. And I mean, Laguna Beach completely changed my life. And so being able to all come back together like that and have those conversations, I think is really, really special. You guys asked what got cut from the reunion. So I won't lie to you. So I saw different cuts of the reunion and things changed. I don't even know if I watched the final cut, if I'm being completely honest, because I had seen it like 5 times or something at that point. So I was like, I'm good, you know? But I do know Steven, Dieter, Jessica, and I did recreate the infamous feta feet pasta dinner. They gave us our lines on cue cards and we reenacted it on the soundstage. That was in the original cut and then it didn't make it, but I think that they've released it maybe online or somewhere as like a little bonus content. But you know, here's the thing too is those soundstage days are so long. I mean, we started early. I want to say we were out there like 8 a.m. and we didn't get done until probably like 6 or 7 p.m. And I knew the whole time we're out there, I'm like, the amount that we're filming and how much of this is going to get cut is like, that always frustrates me because I know obviously, but I think it's almost intentional that they do that because like, I don't know. I think when you start to cut kind of worn out and you're tired, like they sometimes get the best reactions. I don't know if that's accurate. I think, and also I think there's a component where they just want to cover all the bases because until they're in the edit, they don't know exactly what's going to make it. And that's fair and that's understandable. But those are really long days. And so, I mean, so much got cut, right? Like so much, but I couldn't even tell you. Like, I don't even remember. I just know a large portion of the day was dedicated to the love triangle. I mean, of course, but that was kind of it. Someone said after watching the reunion, I'm curious about your classmates' thoughts on Laguna who were not on the show. And this came up actually a lot in interviews, and it's a fair question. I never remember the classmates having a real issue with it. I mean, of course, like at parties and stuff, some people did not want to be on camera and they would just kind of like, you know, be in the background and keep to themselves. And obviously if they were shown on camera, they had to sign a release. And I don't know this for a fact, but I would imagine that there were at least a couple kids who didn't sign a release. But for the most part, like everyone was pretty cool and people just, you know, they were fine with the cameras being at parties and stuff. And if it was like an MTV party, like at one of our houses, or like the black and white party was put on by MTV, like, you know, if you're going to that party, the cameras are going to be there. And actually what we would do is, a lot of times we would go do like the MTV party and then we would, you know, get what we needed to get. And then we would leave and go to the real party. And so that happened a lot. MTV in a way was like our job, you know, and we looked at it like that and it was like, okay, let's go do our thing. And then we can have like the real fun. And, but sometimes there was crossover and those episodes, you can definitely tell like, the Christmas party when everyone comes back, that one was both, you know. Hoosie and I had a little fiesta one time. That one was a real party that MTV happened to be there. And you can tell like we were out of control. I mean, blacked out on camera. Like what? Maybe that was season 2. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, it was probably better for me that I would like go to the work party and then go to the real party. Cause when I didn't, oof, you can tell. Okay, yeah, see, someone else said how you really felt at the reunion. I sensed you holding back some emotions. I don't think you're wrong. I mean, it's interesting that a lot of people picked up on this. Yeah, I think I was trying to be on my best behavior. I think I was walking a fine line of really putting it all out there and being like, kind of what's the point? I don't know. It's a hard thing. I go through these phases where I probably care more than I should about how I'm coming off. And I think I was a little self-conscious at the reunion for sure. And I think when you're with a group of people, like it's a really natural thing to kind of pick up on everybody else's energy. And when everyone is in kumbaya, I can't be the only one who steps out. You know, like I do feel like a sort of obligation to like play the game. And that's so not who I am, right? But I also understand the tone of this reunion is that this, because again, what is the point? And I will say though, I really do wish I defended myself a little bit more. I do. But I was trying to defend myself while also be conscious of other people's feelings. And that was where we landed. So I don't know, for better or for worse, it just sort of is what it is. But I think I could have done a better job of defending myself for sure. So you're not wrong in that. Also, like, I don't know. I have a big personality. Okay. That's not shocking to anybody. And I can be a little spicy and I can be kind of a firecracker, but I am an empath and I always sort of like mold to the energy of the room and like what's collectively going on around me. And that's probably not a good thing. In a situation like that though, I kind of feel like, I don't know. I think it might be okay. I don't know. The last month, crazy period, all the press and reunion and LC podcast. I think from the outside, it looks like it's been a crazy month because, yeah, there's been a ton of press. But if I really broke it down for you guys, it actually hasn't been that much. So we were in LA, and what we did was, it was one day. We had a press junket all day. So that just means you sit in a room and different media outlets come in and they interview you. And then that night we had our big premiere party, and that was it. So it was one day in LA, and then Lauren, Steven, and I had 2 days of press in New York. So really, when you break it down, it really is not that much. And I'll just tell you guys, like, when they were coming to me about all of the press that I could have done, my biggest thing in my life right now is I can't be gone for extended periods of time. Like, my kids are the priority, and we're in the middle of travel basketball season, and my daughter's playing volleyball, and I don't want to miss that stuff. And so, and anyone who's worked with me in the last couple of years knows that, like, you get a really short amount of time with me for this stuff. But I really love how Roku did it, because they just knocked it out and they got us, the best outlets and everything. And it was really seamless and really effective, which is how it should always be. But yeah, I think from the outside world, it looks like we've just been on this like crazy month-long press tour, but it's been very digestible with having 3 kids and also running a business and doing the podcast and everything else that I'm doing. But I love that you think that. But I think it's the only reason I think that's important to break down is because I don't want to, I don't know. I think probably for my own sake is I don't want you moms to think that I've been away from my kids for a month, or like they're home with a babysitter, or I don't know. I find a way in my life to do it all in a small capacity, meaning, yes, I'm going to go on a press tour, quote unquote, but it's going to be how it works for my life. I can absolutely go to LA for a day. And by the way, while I was there, I stayed for 2 days and I knocked out 3 podcasts the next day. It's like, that's how I work, is just trying to fit everything together and be as efficient as possible. And then I was home for a week, and then I flew to New York for 2 days. And by the way, it's an hour and a half from New York. I went on a Monday. I was home Wednesday. And so that's really, doable for me. And actually, when you guys listen to this, I'll be back in New York, and I'm going to be on Watch What Happens Live tonight. Also, again, to promote the show, and I love going on that show. But it's going to New York from Nashville is a piece of cake. It really is so easy. And I'm filming a podcast in New York too. So I always try to like find ways where I can make it also work for me, and where if I've got a little downtime, I'm going to film a podcast. Because I get this question a lot from you guys, is like how I balance it all, how I do it all. And I just think it's important to break that down so that you guys know realistically what it looks like, because I can't be in LA for a week. I can't be in New York for a week. Like, that's just not realistic for my life. And so I just think that's important to know. And also because I'm proud of the mom that I am, and I want that to come through. And I know that it does come through, but they're my priority. Promoting a show is not my priority. And I just think that's also important to hear. As moms, we do have to make sacrifices. My career is sacrificed. And I'm saying, I've said this a million times. So again, I sound like another broken record, but what I mean by that, I don't mean that my career has suffered. What I mean is my career looks very different because I have kids than if I didn't have kids. And I'm so thankful for it, because listen, I'm doing a podcast from my house. Like, I will never take that for granted. But what I'm saying is, like, if I didn't have kids, I would be in LA or New York a lot more, and I would be getting more guest podcasts, and there'd be more going on, right? But I sacrifice that because I want to be home with my kids. And sacrifice is definitely probably not the right word. I'm sure there's a better word out there for it, because it's not a sacrifice. It's just, but as a mom, we have to make decisions. And my kids are always my top priority. And so I don't know. I think that's important. All right, let's talk about branch basics. You guys know I care a lot about what I put in and on my body, but I also care greatly about what is in my home, and specifically about cleaning supplies. So not only do I love Branch Basics because they give me peace of mind and create a safe environment for my entire family, but what's so great about them is they are shipped to you, all of the bottles, and then it's environmental friendly because all you then have to have moving forward is their concentrate. And you mix the concentrate with water, and how much varies depending on the product. Here is the good news, guys. Branch Basics is now available everywhere you shop. So Target, Target.com, Amazon, and of course, like I said, branchbasics.com. Tossing the toxins has never been more convenient. And for anyone grabbing the premium starter kit, you can get 15% off at branchbasics.com with my code HONEST. Just use code HONEST for 15% off the premium starter kit at branchbasics.com. After you purchase, when they ask where you heard about them, please make sure to mention my show, Let's Be Honest. Let's talk about Nutrafol. You guys know I love me some Nutrafol. Good hair days do more than we give them credit for. When your hair feels healthy, you show up differently. You're more confident, you're more relaxed, and you're not constantly checking mirrors or adjusting your hair. Your hair becomes one less thing competing for your attention throughout the entire day. Nutrafol supports hair health from within, working overtime to deliver results you can see and feel, so your hair becomes something you enjoy, not something you stress about. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, and it's the #1 hair growth supplement brand personally used by dermatologists. Nutrafol's hair growth supplements are peer-reviewed, NSF certified for sport, and clinically tested. Let your hair be one less thing to worry about. See visibly thicker, stronger, faster growing hair in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. And for a limited time, Nutrafol is offering my listeners $10 off your first month's subscription and free shipping when you visit Nutrafol.com and enter promo code HONEST. That's Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code HONEST. Singles, listen up. I want to talk to you guys about the Upward dating app. Let's be honest, dating can feel really confusing. I think a lot of people genuinely want something real, right? They want commitment, they want a partner, but sometimes the way we're meeting people doesn't always line up with that goal. One thing I've learned is that clarity is everything. If you don't start on the same page, you end up trying to force alignment later, and that rarely works. That's why I actually love what Upward is doing. It's a dating app built around faith and shared values. So instead of figuring out 3 weeks in that you want completely different things, you're starting from a foundation of family, integrity, and commitment. And whether faith is a huge part of your daily life or just something that shaped how you see the world, Upward connects you with people who care about those same core principles. I'm at a place in my life where intention matters. If I'm dating someone, it's because I see potential. I'm not interested in wasting time. And depending on where you are on your journey, I don't think you should either. So if you're looking for something meaningful and you want to start from a place of alignment, download Upward and date with intention. Because when your values line up, everything else feels a lot simpler. Upward. This is just sweet. I just thought this was, and I've seen a lot of comments like this. And someone said, I just want more Laguna content that healed my millennial heart. This is what I love so much about 2026 is women supporting women. This generation is healing. And when the millennials heal, it trickles out to the other generations. And I feel like we're in this really great positive energy in 2026. And I just want to keep the momentum going. And all of the healing that you guys feel from this reunion, I know the whole cast feels. It just, yes, it's feel good. And I will say that is what Lauren, Steven, and I set out to do from the jump. Was this is not going to be a housewives reunion. No shade to the housewives, but we don't want the drama. It's not about the drama. It's not about the cattiness, and I don't like watching that stuff, right? I used to love the housewives. That was my favorite show, and we're talking 15 years ago. But I can't watch that stuff anymore because it makes me I get uncomfortable. Grown women behaving like that, it makes me sad. I just life doesn't have to be like that, and we set out to do a feel good nostalgic reunion, and it really translated, and you guys are feeling that, and so I'm really proud of it. And I just think we needed that, right? As a society, we need more feel good, healing, and coming together moments than all of this divisive, catty, crazy, just it's too much. It's just too much. A lot of questions about Lo and things like, did you and Lo patch things up? So I didn't talk to Lo, actually. Like, this is so crazy because I do feel like the one person I probably could have used, like obviously more than Lauren, like a, hey, let's clear the air sort of a thing, I feel like was Lo. And Lo was about to pop. She was about to have a baby when we did the soundstage and Laguna, so she couldn't come. So we zoomed her in, but she was on a screen, and I mean, there was, with the whole cast and everything, there was no interaction between the two of us. And then she had just had a baby, so she didn't come to any of the press. So you guys, I haven't seen Lo. I haven't spoken to Lo. Like, during this whole process, she was the only one who I had zero interaction with. And she's the one I probably needed it with the most. But listen, here's what I'll tell you about Lo. There is no bad blood with Lo. The Birkin fiasco, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's not even worth it. But there was a bit of a Birkin fiasco on the hills. And I don't care anymore. Like, I don't care about anything that's happened. It's all part of growing up. I did some really dumb shit. I did some things I'm not proud of. My guess is she would be like, I fucked up on that. But hey, listen, you know what? Me being called out on camera for doing drugs on the hills, I probably needed in a lot of ways. And actually, you guys asked me a lot because I was doing a Hills rewatch little mini series on the pod, and I abruptly stopped, and I apologize for that. I did say on an episode that I was gonna jump ship on that, but I did say I would finish it. But what I actually said was I was gonna do the Miami episode, which is when the girls called me out on camera for doing drugs, and I was going to do the finale. So I am still going to do those two. They will air this summer. I haven't forgotten about that. So that is coming. Stay tuned for that. But yeah, I mean, I think if I saw Lo, I would give her a hug. I'm sure that things would be totally fine. And in fact, I would apologize to her for talking about it in the press so much. Or I don't think I talked about it in the press, but talking about it on the podcast. And you guys may not believe me. The haters definitely won't. But there are, of course, things I know if I say on the podcast, it will create headlines. Like things about my ex-husband. Like, I've tried really hard to sort of navigate around that stuff and tell you tidbits without blatantly saying things to avoid headlines. But I don't know, some of the Lo stuff, or sometimes I say things on the podcast and I will see headlines and I'm like, that got a headline? What the fuck? And I've said this before, if I could just say things on the podcast and everything stay here, that would be my ideal situation. You guys know I hate the headline world, but I say these things and I don't always know if they're going to take off in the media or not. And I think the Lo thing is maybe one of those things where I could be like, I never blatantly said it in the press, but I definitely said it on a podcast, and I apologize for that because it did kind of blow up. And so anyways, I feel like I'm rambling. I haven't done a solo podcast in a minute, but I feel like I would apologize to her. So I hopefully at one point will see her. And then someone asked, do you think you'll stay in touch with everyone more after the Laguna reunion? I mean, yes. So here's what I'll tell you is Jessica, Hoosie, Talon, and I have always been really close. We've been a tight-knit group for the last however many years. We kind of, everyone kind of drifted after high school, and then we really came back together. And I mean, we're in a group chat, the Fab Four, hey, and the girls came to Nashville a couple years ago. And so that forever we will forever be such a tight-knit group. And you guys have to remember, everybody else was a year older than us, and we were the younger crew. So naturally, that's our friend group, right? And they were a friend group. But reconnecting with Morgan and Christina, I am so happy about, because I've always loved them so much, so much. Morgan and I have a lot in common, just personally and professionally. She has the best bathing suit brand called Minnow. If you guys don't know it, check it out. She's got a place in Charleston. I've got a store in Charleston. I'm going to go this fall. I was like, you're coming. Anyways, I love Christina and Morgan. And yes, I think, it's been incredible reconnecting with Trey. I haven't seen Trey in so long. Dieter, I've talked to a little bit. I know that this whole group of people are forever in each other's corners. And that's the best feeling about the whole thing is these are my ride or dies forever, for life, because of what we've been through together. And this reuniting and this reconnecting just really cements that. And because of what a positive experience it's been, I think absolutely, like, these are my people without a doubt. So I do want to say, so on the reunion, there was a moment where they played clips from our loved ones who are not here anymore. Or like with Lauren, her parents are divorced. They're not together anymore. And it was an emotional moment for everybody. It actually sort of caught me off guard. Like, I knew, you guys, I knew that was going to happen at some point in the day, right? Obviously they told me, but I forgot. And then when it happened, I like didn't even realize what was happening. And then it was just like, how are you feeling? And it was like, oh my God, this is like, that's what I'm saying about these reunions and just interviews in general. Like, that's a weird thing to watch a clip of you and your brother who died 10 years ago, and then in front of a bunch of people and cameras and lights and okay, comment on that. It's like, oh my God, I don't know what to say. And so I don't know. That was weird. But also I love that they did that, paying tribute, you know, and I said on the reunion, but my brother in high school, God, he looked great. And my brother died and dealt with addiction issues. And towards the end, he was in bad shape. And so I like looking back at him in those years because he looked so good. He was much healthier. He looked like him, you know, and that's how I want to remember him. And he was my biggest supporter in so many ways. And he just thought everything was so cool that we were doing. And so I'm glad that they did that. But with that, I had a few people say, I also lost my little brother. He was 22. I would love to hear more about your grief journey. And I did do a podcast about grief and my brother's death. And gosh, what was that titled? That was in the same episode as my Bufo experience. That was a big episode. But I'll do another episode about grief actually, but I'll just touch on it here. But this is inspiring me to do another one. Grief is a wild thing. And until you experience it, you won't get it. You don't understand it. And you will never be the same. You will never be the same. And it's such a roller coaster. I found that year 3 was the hardest. And I remember my mom saying, you know, the first 2 years, it's almost like, you know, like, oh, okay, I just haven't seen him in a while. Like, okay, you know, but that's whatever. And then year 3, you're like, oh my God, they're not coming back. Like, Mike's actually not coming back. And that's, I think, just like when it started, it like reality set in. Here's what I'll tell you is grief in the beginning. And when I say beginning, I'd say the first, 4 years is hard, and it will come out of nowhere. You'll think that you're fine, and then it comes out of nowhere, right? And you just like lose it. And even right now, like I thought I was gonna be totally fine talking about this, and I'm like starting to get choked up about it. But I will say there is a turning point where full acceptance happens. And like for me, I wholeheartedly believe that he is still around and that I will see him again and that he's at peace and he's fine. I remember my mom said this to me in the early days, like Mike is fine, right? Like Mike is at peace. He's fine. We're the ones that feel this like hole in your chest, you know, we're the ones that deal with it. And it's true. And so when you can think about it like that, like have full acceptance and like, he's okay, right? Like, or whoever it is, they're okay. And I've gotten so many signs from my brother, not as many in the last few years, but I mean, over the years we just had so many collectively, but my kids, my mom, my dad, me, and that gave me a lot of peace too, of knowing that he's around. I know I'm going to see him again. And I look at him as a guardian angel, and I tell my kids that he's their guardian angel because I know that he is. And we talk about him. Like I talk about Uncle Mike and I keep him alive in that way. But my point is there will be a shift then. And all of a sudden you will go, you know what? I've actually been okay. I've been okay for an extended period of time. And it's just now like part of who you are.
Let's talk about Revolve. I know all of my girlies know what Revolve is, and it's one of my favorite websites. And right now, as we all know, it is festival season, and Revolve's festival shop is open. It's basically your go-to for all things festival season. It's got standout looks. It makes you feel confident, a little bit of extra, but still effortless. Think head-to-toe outfits that feel styled already, not piecing things together last minute. They have statement pieces, sets, textures that actually feel like a moment, designed for festivals, but of course also works for trips, long weekends, nights out, you name it. It makes packing and planning outfits way easier because everything already goes together. And it's elevated, but still easy. You can find looks that stand out without trying too hard. I just got the thong sandal heel that is so trendy right now. A black one that goes with everything, and I've been wearing it day and night. So whether it's a big night out, a wedding, or a trip, or you just need something last minute that actually works, Revolve always has it. Go to revolve.com/honest to shop their faves and use code HONEST for 15% off your first order. And definitely check out the festival shop while you're there. Fast shipping, easy returns. It just makes everything easier. That's revolve.com/honest. You can shop their faves and get 15% off your first order. Offer ends May 5th, so do not miss out. All right, let's talk about Sam Edelman, a brand that I love. Wedding season arrives with a sense of anticipation. Invitations stack up, calendars fill, and each event calls for a look that feels considered and distinct. So why not celebrate with Sam? A shoe for every occasion, designed for every step of the season, from the aisle to the after party and beyond. Celebrate with Sam captures a modern approach to occasion dressing. It's refined, effortless, and distinctly feminine. It's a wardrobe built to move seamlessly through the season's most anticipated moments and into what comes next. Think airy mesh and woven textures that reveal just enough, grounded in soft neutrals and lifted with fresh tones of blue and pink. Subtle statements that feel both current and enduring. They have so many great key styles, from their Bianca sling, the Presley strappy kitten heel sandal, the hazel pump, the Alley ballet flat, and their Alina sandal. Each pair defines a moment. Together, they carry you through the entire occasion, from first arrival to final getaway. So check them out. Go to samedelman.com to explore everything you need for spring and get 15% off with code HONEST15. Okay, I always love when we chat Foria. You guys know I'm obsessed. Foria is here to help you have really good sex and more of it. The kind that makes you feel nourished, juicy, and fully alive. They make life-changing, all-natural, organic formulas for your most intimate needs. Imagine the best orgasm or sex you've ever had. Okay, now imagine that it could be even better with products that were designed to naturally enhance sexual pleasure and give you access to bigger and better orgasms. So they have an arousal oil, which is called Awaken, and it's like a juicy warm-up that helps you get really turned on, increasing your pleasure, deepening your orgasms, and increasing your connection with your partner or just yourself, just saying. All right, so experience your juiciest and deepest sensual experience with a bottle of Foria. Foria is offering a special deal for my listeners. Get 20% off your first order by visiting foriawellness.com/honest or use code HONEST at checkout. That's FORIA wellness.com/honest for 20% off your first order. I personally recommend trying Awaken or their pleasure set with all three of their best sellers.
And it's been 10 years for me, and I can sit here and say, I'm good, like I'm good. And I am good in my day-to-day, and I can talk about Mike and be okay. And it's just part of this life. But then, when I really start to like think about it and talk about it, like I definitely can get emotional about it, but overall I'm okay. And that's a good feeling. And I listen, also, here's what I will say too. this was my brother. If it was a kid, like, oh, I'm going to cry just even thinking about it. I don't know how anyone loses a kid. I don't know how anyone comes back from losing a kid. Like my mom and my dad, I don't know how you would do that. I don't know. And so I can't, I'm not trying to diminish, obviously, like losing a brother or losing a parent or, but like losing a kid would be the worst. I can't even say it. It'd be the hardest thing to go through. I don't know how you would move on from that. Okay, I have to change the subject because that will just absolutely wreck me. Okay, well, speaking of reality TV, someone asked, talk about reality TV in 2026 versus early 2000s. So, God, what a difference, right? Night and day. And this is what I've said. If Laguna Beach aired today, it would never be successful. It would never. It's way too boring. Laguna, the timing couldn't have been more perfect. But now, compared to what's on TV, it's so tame. It's so boring. Nothing really happens. And I think, too, we've wised up. Like, I think we're a little more savvy when it comes to editing and what is producer led. And also, but by the way, I think probably even the bigger difference now, maybe producers don't have to step in as much anymore because the cast is doing it themselves, because everyone has realized, if I don't have drama and I don't bring it, well, I don't have airtime. And I know in the housewives world anyways, I think then you have the potential of not coming back next season. And so I think a lot of the cast is probably just amping up the drama and being super reactive and dramatic, and it could be even subconscious, but just to get more screen time. And I think that with that, there's, I think you lose a level of authenticity, obviously. And I know, like with Laguna, there was a real innocence to it because we had no blueprint. We didn't know really what we were doing. We were the first show of its kind. I mean, there was The Real World, but they lived in a house together. They were a little bit older. They're going out partying. We're high school kids. Like, there was no map for us. So in a way, we were just being ourselves, living our lives. And now I think people go on to a show with an agenda and being like, I'm going to be the bitch. I'm going to be the good girl. I'm going to be whatever. And I don't know. I think maybe I want to say that's why people really responded to the Laguna Beach reunion, because it's real. There's heart in it. There's real heart in it. I'm just going to say this, you guys. When Love Island was so popular, like a year ago, I tried. I was like, okay, I'm going to see what all the fuss is about. I put on the first episode of whatever season that was. I couldn't get through more than 5 minutes. And I don't know, maybe I'm getting older, but I literally, my jaw was on the floor and I was like, this is what all of America is obsessed with. I couldn't wrap my brain around it. And I'm sorry, this is going to be mean, but I felt dumber watching that for 5 minutes. You lose brain cells watching that, you guys. How are we watching those shows? Justin did say to me, you have to get through the first, the first episode's not that great. But I couldn't. And I can't watch reality TV anymore. Those kinds of shows. I've watched, there's like some competition shows. I'll dabbled. I don't watch a lot of TV, but like occasionally I'll dabble. But like I can't do the drama. And like the guy girl things. It's gross to me. I just think it's really gross. Where TV back in the day, I just think there was more heart. Even if like The Real World is a good example, even if you're going out and you're getting drunk, Trishelle hooked up with Mark, these are real people and these are real emotions. And it was relatable because maybe you didn't live in a house with all these people, but like you've experienced that kind of either rejection or, being obsessed with someone. And it's just like we've gone through all of the same experiences. It's all like really relatable in a way. And I just feel like TV now, it's just become explosive. And it's like, how can we get a bigger reaction from people? It's like everyone has to like keep upping the ante, which is kind of scary to think about because it's like, well, where do we go from here? But I actually think we're going to come back around. The pendulum is going to swing the other way. And I think people are wanting a little more heart is the best way for me to describe it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't like reality TV anymore. Dieter and Alex H. Dietered, LOL. Some recap on the reunion would be good. Yeah, I know. People seem to really love the hookups that you didn't know about. I mean, you have to remember, most of those people were together from elementary school through high school. I mean, I came in as a sophomore and I was the new girl. Everyone had known each other forever. And so, yeah, there were a lot of hookups that, you didn't necessarily know about. Another one that people said were Steven and Jessica, which is funny because I think I had forgotten that, but obviously I knew in high school. But yeah, no, I mean, that's what happens when you got a small town and everyone's been together. I love that it's called Dietered. It's so great. And then, this is more the hills, but coming off of Laguna, I had a lot of people say, talk about Spencer running for mayor. So you know what? Let's talk about it. And someone said, is Spencer Pratt a good person, knowing he was producing his own character? I will forever love Spencer. I just will. I feel like I've always really understood him. I get him. And I, of course, love Heidi too. I think Spencer running for mayor is fucking genius because I think everyone in politics, I don't care what side you're on, everyone is corrupt. To get to that level, you have to play their game. It's all an agenda. And I think their goal is to keep all of us divided. They want us fighting. And that's why I don't buy into any of it. I'm not on one side or the other because I think all politics are fucking bullshit. And their whole goal is to fearmonger and keep everyone's vibration really low. Yes, that's my woo-woo shit coming through, but it's the fucking truth. So I don't pay attention to any of it. I don't buy into any of it. I am not on one side. I think at one point someone was like, Kristin's Maha, make America healthy again. Sure. If you want to throw me in that category, do I care about making our country healthy? Abso-fucking-lutely. I've got 3 kids. I care about the shit that they're buying at the gas station. Yes, I want to make food, water, all of the things across the board healthy because compared to other countries, our food and everything else that we're giving our kids is complete shit. And that pisses me off. So if you want to put me in the category of Maha, go right ahead. But I don't identify as that. I just care about health. So fucking sue me. By the way, I care about health for everybody collectively, the entire country. So don't put me on a side. But that's why I love Spencer running for mayor because he is a real person who is going to call out the corruption. He is going to actually get shit done. He is fired up because he lost his house and he obviously has seen all of the corruption in LA. I only know so much about LA specifically because I don't live there. I have a condo there, but I don't know. I'm not there all the time, right? I care more about Tennessee. And so I can't speak to the specifics, but I do know every time I see him talking about what's going on and all of the corruption that he's pointed out, he's fucking spot on. And I love that he is doing this. And most people in California that you talk to actually love it too. People are really excited. People are really fired up. I think getting everyone who's not a politician in office in some capacity is the right move because the politicians don't give a shit about you or me or anybody. They only care about themselves. And I wish everyone could just wake up instead of fighting over stuff that's A, probably never actually going to happen, or B, it doesn't fucking matter. We need to, you guys, come together as a fucking society and be like, fuck the politicians across the board. Can we please just be united? Can we please stop fighting about dumb shit? Okay, we're ending on that note. That was not my intention, but that's how passionate I am about this. So vote for Spencer Pratt. Go fucking Spencer. This is what we need right now. Okay, I might regret doing this, but I don't fucking care anymore. Let's talk about all the shit. All right, maybe this is the beginning of a new fired up me, but I'm leaving for the day. Okay, thank you guys. I love you, and I'll see you soon.